Hello there everyone, nubkeks here and welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video I'm giving you my guide for Rian the Conjurer, the third epic that you can unlock through doing the secret rooms in Doom Tower Normal. And Rian the Conjurer, funny enough, I did guides on Archmage Helmet and Akoth the Seared over a month ago now, I think at this point. And at the time, I kind of put off doing Rian. I said I wouldn't rush to do Rian. It might take a bit longer for people to get her. And is she that good? Well, would you believe it? Actually, in the last couple of months, especially with the advent of Hydra and how the arena meta has developed, I actually think that Rian has just got better and better and better and is going to be a champion that you really want to consider building on a lot of accounts, especially moving into the future with how the arena meta is likely to go with reaction accessories and with stone skin in particular. But yeah, let's take a dive in. Let's look at her kit and I'll explain why it's so good. Her A1 Magma Ball, single target attack, 50% chance of placing block buffs for 2 turns, books up to a 70% chance of placing block buffs for 2 turns. So it's a solid A1. It's pretty useful. Obviously good for the Hydra boss. And yeah, it's a decent move overall for arena and some Doom Tower stuff. So not bad. Her A2 then is a real big highlight, the Sweeping Dismissal, only a 3-turn cooldown when you book it out, and when booked, has a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies, and 100% chance of placing Weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. So this is phenomenal. Really nice. It means because it's not a physical attack, this has 2 big advantages. Number 1, it can't weak hit. It will never weak hit. It will always do its thing, which is exactly what you want from this. And then number 2, for Arena in particular, there are masteries. Does she have them? Yeah, she does. So this mastery right here with the blood drops, 50% chance of increasing turn meter when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. This is one of the dangers of running, like, let's say a champion like Lydia in the arena, is that she can crit with her AoE decrease defense and weaken, which can then boost turn meter and can then ruin your whole arena match because suddenly the enemy team actually gets a go and they're speed tuned and then they just run over you because your speed tune got broken by that mastery. You don't have to worry about that with Rian, which is nice. This is just generally a good move. So I actually think not only is this obviously fantastic in arena for stripping off those buffs, but it's really good for Hydra as well. It gives you an option for buff stripping the Hydra, which is great. It could be good for some Doom Tower waves potentially. Now, I don't use that because I've got Seer, so it's, you know, the buffs are good. But yeah, it's a solid option. It is a solid option. AoE Weaken, gonna be useful. It doesn't really shine, I would say, in dungeon progression, but you're gonna have done at least 9 months of Doom Tower Normal before you get her, so you should really be done with dungeon progression by the time you get her. And she's not for that. She's really looking at arena and faction wars as her 2 big areas to shine. Now, 2 other things to mention very quickly about this. AoE Weaken. How does this compare to, let's say, AoE Decreased Defense? Her biggest rival will be Madame Ceres, who's a very similar move. Madame Ceres, 4-turn cooldown mind you, has AoE removal of all buffs and puts decreased attack and decreased defense. Funny enough, in arena, I'd actually value Weaken more quite often. When you're going up into, you know, higher tiers of arena, generally speaking, defense isn't emphasized all that much, simply because all of the nukers are running in Savage. They all have Helm Smasher. Defense is not a huge deal. HP tends to be emphasized an awful lot more, and reaction accessories, that sort of thing. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. So Weaken can actually be just as useful as that decreased defense. It can up your damage quite a lot. Also worth mentioning, Weaken now does buff off bombs. So if bombs do become a bigger thing in the arena, which I do think is possible as well, Rian with the Weaken is going to be a very useful buff remover, buff stripper that brings that Weaken. So there's a lot of positives here, a lot to like about it. And finally then, this is her other sort of twist. Master of Summons, 4-turn cooldown when it's booked, revives a dead ally with 50% HP, 50% turn meter, and gives them block debuffs for 2 turns. So this gives you like another option in the arena. And also, you know, in Hydra, she can be a reviver in Hydra, which is useful. Reviver for faction wars is very useful as well. Very, very useful. Oh, by the way, one of the hardest waves, I'll show it to you in faction wars. You got to fight a bunch of Valkyries, which are awful, right? Massive shields and counterattacking everyone. She can strip those buffs off. She's bad affinity to the Valkyries, but it doesn't matter, right? Because it's not a hit. But yeah, single target revive is great. In the arena, this is sort of the twist that she brings over Madame Ceres as well, is that she gives you an option to revive. So potentially you run her with an Arbiter team, potentially if everyone else dies, she could revive that Arbiter and give you a second chance. Not a great chance. You're probably still going to die, but it's better than no chance at all. And this is also a nice thing about her affinity, Force Affinity. A lot of the nukers in Arena are magic affinity. It's one of the most common things. Rotos would be the best nuker in Arena, just period. You've also got champions like Foley, Trunda, Herndig. Like, there's a lot of magic nukers. They're very common, and she has an extra chance to survive against them and get the revive off, which is quite nice. And she also has an accuracy aura, which is just generally useful if you need an aura for anywhere. Hydra, Doom Tower, whatever. Faction Wars, Arena, she can bring it for you. In particular, in Arena, quite nice against resistance teams where you don't want to be going too quickly because of reaction accessories, so you want to get rid of your speed aura from Arbiter, and that gives you even more accuracy to help overcome their resistance if they're really stacked up on resistance, which is important too. In terms of her build, this is also where it gets super interesting, because there are several big things that you can do with her build. There's several big directions you can take her. I guess the most straightforward one is one I've not gone for, but regeneration. I think regeneration, healing every turn, this is your faction war set. So if you are still progressing through Dark Elves faction wars, which can be rough. Most people find it really easy. I had a really tough time with Dark Elves. It's one of the last ones I finished. Because I just have barely any Dark Elf champs. I'm missing most of the good ones. Rian, really good for that and helping me to farm that crypt smoothly. Regen is really good for that, to keep her alive. She doesn't have any healing, and you want her to stay alive as the reviver in PvE content, so this is a good option there. But for PvP, there's better options. First of all, I mean, accuracy is not bad, right? Perception is accuracy, but better, so that'd be your go-to. That's what I've got her built for here, which is really high accuracy and high speed as well. Other really interesting options though. Okay, so immunity is a good option too, which makes her immune from all CC, but there's a better set than immunity out there now. There's two better sets than immunity, but it's a decent option, right? Just have her go in fully immune. She can't be CC'd, she can strip off all the buffs, or she can revive if needed. Not a bad option. More interesting than that though, Untouchable is a slightly better version of immunity, comes with resistance, but it's a pain in the ass to farm it. But the big one, which is a huge deal for her, and also in terms of why she's so important now, Stone Skin. Stone Skin, I think, could be a really good option for her. Gives you HP, resistance, defense, lots of defense. Okay, fine. There are decent stats for her. Make her a bit tankier, that's okay. But it's the Stone Skin buff that's such a big deal. Either get it for 1 turn or for 2 turns at 4 and 6 pieces of the set, respectively. Stone Skin gives you a massive shield. That's 85% damage reduction as well, and also makes you immune to all debuffs except for bombs. I think Warlord can also hit through it. He can put your skills on cooldown through it, but you probably don't have a Warlord. If you do have Warlord, Warlord is better than Rian. You should use Warlord, okay? I'll say that straight up, but you probably don't have literally the best arena champion in the game. Lucky if you do. But yeah, this is a huge deal. How do you deal with Stone Skin? There's only 2 ways to deal with it. There's only 2 ways. Number 1, bombs. Bomb debuff is the only debuff that can be placed, and it does like triple or quadruple damage or something like that. So bombs could become very important in the meta. A nice thing. Rihanna's weakened to work with that. The other option is to bring buff removal, maybe even 2 buff removers, because you don't have a 100% chance to strip off Stone Skin, but you've got a 50% chance. But oftentimes that can be enough, right? You strip off, let's say on average, 2 of the enemy team. If their whole team in Stone Skin, strip Stone Skin off 2 of them, your nuker kills them, and then you can sort of breathe a bit more easily. There's only 2 of them left, and guess what? You've got Rian the Conjurer, who's got a revive. You might be running her with Arbiter, who's got a revive. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to actually take you down. So I think she's a very good option to counter this, and she's also a very good option to wear this. You could totally do that. To put it in perspective, like if I look at Rian right here, if I was to put her in Stone Skin, we'd lose 15% speed and 40 accuracy. So her base speed is actually kind of bad at 98. It's pretty bad. So we'd lose just probably 14 speed, so 216, and we'd lose about 120 accuracy. We'd be at about 400 accuracy, and my stuff isn't fully rolled up. That's actually pretty good. 400 accuracy is going to strip everyone that's not hardcore building resistance for the most part in most arena matches. Certainly for, getting through your gold, up to gold 1 in Tag Arena. Video on that coming soon. But yeah, it's definitely an option, right? it's definitely an option, and it makes her just guaranteed to survive that first round or first couple of rounds and get the revive off. It's certainly something to consider. And with accessories as well, this is another reason why she's so important. And I'll show you my arena team that capitalizes on this. Reaction accessories are a huge deal for Rian as well. 25% chance per reaction to turn a critical hit into normal hit when attacked before the first turn. Honestly, if you're using her for arena, you don't even care what the stats are on these pieces. Just put her in reaction so that she can't be killed. If you're going up against a blue affinity nuker and they have to get through, 1, 2, 3 reaction pieces and her affinity, it makes her very safe, very likely to survive no matter what they throw at you, and that's a very valuable thing. It's really, really good. So I highly recommend reaction accessories, and she works well with teams that are going to play around reaction as well. So yeah, going for those. I also have a random counterattack accessory on her. Accuracy. This needs to be rolled up. A bunch of her gear needs to be rolled up, but I think it gives you a very achievable goal to aim for then in terms of gearing her. She's really not hard to gear. We're looking to give her just defensive stats, but mostly it's just speed and accuracy. Speed and accuracy with this. Speed and accuracy all day long. That's all we really care about. And for our masteries, we're going into the support tree for more accuracy, for buff stripping, and then through the defense tree for some turn meter if we do get attacked to help her do the revive thing, counterattack, because why not? And yeah, basically that's it. Pretty straightforward. If you are using her more for dungeons, you could give her War Master in the offense tree. If you're only using her in Hydra or in Doom Tower, that sort of thing, that would be possibly a better option to get more damage out. That could be good. You could also run her down this way, and instead of going for the accuracy side of this, we could grab her Spirit Haste and Timely Intervention if you want her to be more focused on being a reviver. That's totally up to you as well. But yeah, certainly, obviously I've got fairly later game gear here, not end game gear, but much later in the game. Generally speaking, push her up to around 200 speed at least, and you want at least 200 accuracy is what you're going for. 200 accuracy is good for most progression PvE content in the game. When you're going into Doom Tower hard, you want to push that up to 300 plus, and then for pushing arena, you want to be like 400, 500, 600, whatever, anything like that. Let's look at her in action, shall we? So the first place I want to show her to you is in the arena. And I have, let's try some, let's do no bullshit stuff. We might lose some of these because of the speed race. We might lose the speed race, but it'll be an interesting test to see how Rian compares. Will Rian be able to actually pick us back up and survive? Or is it sort of like something that's just going to fall apart and not actually happen for us? And this is interesting, right? So this is the team I usually use for Classic Arena, but I've been working on a Tag Arena video, and I've got Tormund, who's a really OP champion, let's be honest. And I said, there's no real point having Tormund and Kymar on the same team. It's great. Tormund basically gives us insurance against speed, right? If they go first, if their Arbiter goes first here, Tormund can freeze their team, which then gives me a chance to come back, yeah? But in 3v3, I'm not going to be putting my Arbiter against their Arbiter team. I've got different strategies. I'll talk about those. So I can actually not bring in Tormund because I know I'm going to win the speed race. I can bring in Rian the Conjurer instead. And what happens with this particular team? So Arbiter comes in. She's going to increase attack and fill our turn meter. Then Prince Kymar comes in. And this is the big thing that you want to consider when you're building Rian. I'll suggest an earlier game composition as well. This team is specifically designed to counter reaction, right? Because what happens if Foley comes in? I've changed my Foley's gear, by the way. What happens if Foley comes in and he does his nuke, and half of the enemy team or more are wearing reaction accessories? He nukes them, and they're just sitting there at maybe 60% life, just looking at us and laughing. We're going to die horribly, right? They're going to run over us. It's really, really bad. So how do we work around it? We're going to be big brain. And shout out to MacChan, actually. I re-geared my Foley a bit after watching MacChan's recent arena gearing video. He's not fully rolled up anything on his new gear, but I switched him out of speed boots into attack boots. So here's what we do with this team. Arbiter increases attack and turn meter. Then Prince Kymar comes in. He also has a buff strip that places asleep. Okay, so he puts the enemy team to sleep and strips their buffs. Then Rian comes in. Rian will clean up any buffs that Kymar somehow missed. Right now they've got similar accuracy. I think that Rian's actually going to end up as higher accuracy because Kymar's more built for speed. And then Rian's going to place the weaken. They'll sleep through their first turn. Reaction falls off. Then Foley can come in, and then Foley can nuke. He's going to absolutely rip through them because he has Savage, he has Helm Smasher, and he's going to have the Weaken. So he should secure some kills and block Revive. And this is like, in theory, the team. How it can go wrong is if they're faster than us, it can definitely go wrong. Or if Foley is too quick, he's maybe a little bit too quick. If Foley is so quick, or they're too slow, so that he nukes them while they're still asleep and they haven't taken their turn, then it can fall apart as well. Let's run it and try. Watch them probably be quicker than us, but it's an interesting test either way. Yeah, they are quicker, so this could be kind of scary. This could definitely be scary, and unfortunately their nuker. There we go. Oh, actually, yo, look at that! I've got one reaction piece on Kymar as well. That actually went reasonably well. Now Ray may just murder us. I will do my revive here. I will. Get your turn. Oh, look at that. Kymar saves the day. Good lad. She's going to lower their stuff. She misses her turn. Another speed boost here. Oh, fantastic. That worked really well. Let's just try to double hit Candrafon just to make sure he dies. And bam. Foley blows them up. Okay, we got through. But the reaction accessory worked well there. That was a situation where there's no affinity advantage for Rian. We're actually quite lucky Kymar reaction procced. Kymar would have died. We would have just rezzed him anyway, but he might not have got that the sleep off at the right time. Let's go up against this team. So this team looks like a slower team, so what we can do here is I can go and I can switch my composition to this one down here. Let me actually make sure it's set up correctly. So this is how I'd set it up. I'd have her always prioritize her Master of Summons first, and then Sweeping Dismissal second. If no one's dead, she'll just do Sweeping Dismissal. Arbiter can do whatever. Foley, I always want to use Seal Fate. And Kymar, I want you to always prioritize Abyssal Gaze for the arena. So let's go in. So this team, they should be slower. Like Arbiter should outspeed most of them. Might get sketchy with Valkyrie doing turn meter stuff. I actually don't know. But let's test it out. The idea here is that we don't need as much speed. We want to bypass the reaction. Kymar puts them to sleep. Rian strips them off. They wake up. Beautiful. And we didn't kill them anyway. So that's a little bit sketchy. But we get some turn meter there. He gets taken down. She's going to revive him. Can he live is the question. I'm not sure. Strip off some of those. He actually killed a Valkyrie, which is good. Rian is going to go down. But hopefully that will be okay. He gets picked back up again. Foley's coming in with another nuke. And there we go. We got to get through this Mountain King. But he's not going to kill the whole team at this point. Rian strips him off of the buff. Yeah, this has been a pretty intense fight right here. So I probably should have targeted Foley's attack a bit more carefully. That wasn't so good. We got the block buff out as well for whatever that's worth. He's probably going to kill Foley again, and Rian might pick him up. Come on, Rian. Pick up Foley. There we go. Pick up Foley. Then we get the speed boost and Foley nukes. And boom. So this is obviously, you know, Kymar is insane, right? We just had the Kymar stuff this weekend. But you can see, like, we're going up against people with Kymar. That's sort of thing we're fighting. This team, could we beat this team if they're faster than us? You know, maybe. Let's try it. Sure, I'll buy a refill. I'm curious now, actually. What happens with this team? So we'll go in here. They don't have a lot of damage. They've got lots of shielding. I wonder if we have enough accuracy. Hopefully we do. Yeah, let's go for it. One nice thing here is that Foley also counters Kymar. Kymar puts him to sleep. It gives Foley 50% turn meter, and he just rips it off. Look at that. So he rips it off and he nukes. He killed himself, though, against the Brogni shield. That's not so good. Rian got provoked. So this could be kind of spooky for sure. We need Kymar to get a turn, basically. Oh, wow. That's a hard-hitting Brogni. Well, that team completely wrecked us. That is unfortunate. Wow, wow. You know, I'm not going to bullshit you, though. I'm going to show you how these teams actually work and what we're actually up against. So yeah, let's try this one. This one, again, is a quick team. If they go first, we're going to be in some serious trouble. But we can maybe pull it off. Astron would probably just win. Oh, no. This is why I use Foley for classic. Not Foley. This is why I use what's-his-face for... I was going to say Foley. Oh. She lived because of her affinity. We've picked Arbiter back up. Arbiter, save us. Don't die. Don't die, Arbiter. Oh, my God. Stop attacking me. There we go. Oh, he's killed the Foley. Sweeping Dismissal. But we've got a chance. We have a fighting chance. But this is why I use Torment. It's because my Arbiter's not quick enough for Classic... Funny enough for Classic Arena. Again, in Tag, it doesn't matter because that's not what we do. He's bloody killed her again. This is a nightmare. But Rian's picked her up again. I mean, it's kind of fun to see these losing matches because you can see we're holding on for a while. Come on, Kymar. Strip them. Oh, he stripped them. Sweeping Dismissal. Come on, Foley. No, don't wake him up. Our Arbiter woke him up. Oh, no. I should have taken manual control. but it's fine. Foley takes them down. Oh my god. The most epic of duels here. I think that shows you the strength of Rian, though. That was great, wasn't it? Boom. It's the big question, right? It's the big question. Rian versus Madame Ceres. Number one, Rian has one huge advantage, which is, you can see it right here. Rian is a champion you're guaranteed to get. Madame Ceres is not. I'm somehow missing a bunch of random ass bad epics from Dark Elves, but I'm also missing a couple of good Void ones. But I never got a Madame Ceres. I'm a year and a half into the game, never got her. Obviously, I never bought a Void Shard in my life, but I've never got her either. But I do have Rian, so that's one big advantage they have. Their stats are very similar, but as you saw right there, Rian, especially with reaction accessories, or you could put both, that and Stone Skin, you could sacrifice some of that accuracy, a little bit of speed, to bring that revive, and you can see the usefulness of that revive. It does work, and the usefulness of that accuracy aura against those slower teams. It can be good. I can't remember if we won the slower team fight or not now. Maybe we didn't, but anyway, you get the idea. Madame Ceres is also a good option as well. Very good option too. She brings you the decreased attack and decreased defense. So if they do have a team of like a nuker, let's say they have a Leorius, for example, you might want to bring decreased attack instead to try and mitigate the damage he can do. Or if they've got defensive nukers, it might be a good idea too. And then her A2 is really good as well. But yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. You'd lose that revive, and you saw in those arena fights the value of that revive. It does add up to being quite a useful thing. Now, the other big area that I'd be using Rian, and again, this is going to be an end game team. This is my speed farm team, but it's just to show you the idea, and we'll get through this stuff pretty quickly. I could put in worse champions, but we go slower, we might not win. So Rian does two very useful things for this faction crypt. Funny enough, she's going to be improved drastically this week. So I think we should probably see maybe here, we might see the problem. Okay, no, I think we're going to be okay. But one of the issues you can run into is if you got a really well-geared Vizix, Vizix keeps stealing turn meter off this Black Knight. And this Black Knight is unkillable. Now, Rian the Conjurer, what she does with her default AI is she looks at this and says, Lydia has placed Weaken already for 3 turns. I don't need to do my buff strip and Weaken, because Weaken's already on there. So Rian's just going to stand there and fire A1s at this guy forever. So you will need to take manual control. And actually, I don't want to take manual. I want our abilities back for the next wave. You'll need to take manual control and tell her to strip it off. Now, the good news is that this week, I'm not sure when I'm going to publish this video this week. Maybe it's live by the time this video comes out. But they're going to be adding more custom PvE matchups. In fact, you should have a whole 15 slots for faction war teams alone. So you can come in and make a dedicated team for Dark Elf faction wars, right? And you can tell Rian, I want you to prioritize your revive. And if you're not reviving anyone, I want you to buff strip. Oh my god, he resisted! There's a 3% chance that anything can be resisted in this game. We just saw it right there. So what a showcase. This has been a roller coaster of a guide, let me tell you. This has been a roller coaster. Also, shout out to my girl Vizix. Literally too much turn meter control. Literally busted. Was it one more go around? Oh my gosh, she's so fast as well with this turn meter steal. Okay, one more go. Right. Then we'll get on to the next wave. The next wave is the Valkyrie waves. Now, because I'm going in with all my abilities, we might kill them really quick. But there we go. We're saved. Huzzah! Back on auto. This Valkyrie wave is horrible. Also, Warcaster puts block damage as well. But look, everyone comes in. They get these things. Now, Lydia put decreased defense, so these shields are smaller than they would normally be. They'd normally be much bigger, and these counterattack hits. Foley just blasts through half of it by himself. He does no increased attack. He doesn't even care. But Rian here can be very, very useful. Can be very useful to strip this stuff off. Now, as it happens, as you can see, we just have so much damage at Ruel and Rian. Boom. Boom. That we just kill them, right? Because this is an end game team. But for you in progression, this is where your like 200 accuracy regen set Rian could be really useful, so that you're getting smashed by that Valkyrie wave, but she can keep stripping off those shields and counterattacks. And when people die, because they probably will die, she can pick them back up. So it's a very useful thing. Now, you're probably pretty far in Faction Wars by the time you've got Rian, but like I said, this was one of the last ones I finished, and I finished it before I got Rian, I did, but as you can see, Rian is in my team, And once we can put in this AI thing to make her smart, it's going to be a properly full auto team, which is great. I wonder if Madame... I suspect Madame probably is smart enough, because she's got 2 buff stealing moves, doesn't she? That's one advantage. Madame is smart enough without a custom AI. But yeah, you're just going to create a custom faction war team for your Dark Elves, put Rian in there, and you're going to force Rian to use her buff strip, basically on cooldown, and it's going to do the job. But yeah, we're coming in here. Again, if you don't have Lydia, Rian brings the weekend. She'd even go well with a Madame Ceres, would be fine as well for the faction. Bringing a revive. The weekend goes well with the reduced defense of Madame Ceres. 2 buff strips are better than 1. So yeah, it's not a bad option at all. We come through. Rian, she's not really done any damage. You know, she's basically just there for the utility. But that's her job, and it's a very useful thing that she does bring. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much all I want to cover, honestly, with Rian for now. I'm going to be doing more PvP, more arena videos as we go forward, as I'm trying to get better at PvP myself. I have been in Gold 1 Tag Arena before, but I fell out of it. I'm trying to get back up. I almost got back up yesterday. I was like, I don't know. I was like maybe 7. I think I was 7 wins up into the green in the promotion. And Tag Arena reset is at 5 a.m. It's either 5, maybe it was 6. It's either 5 or 6 a.m. Irish time. Which isn't, I don't want to be up at 5 or 6 a.m. Thank you very much. So I woke up and I had lost, I think I've been attacked like 3 times. And my defenses, you obviously lose most of your defensive battles. I lost 8 of them. So I was 1 win below the threshold. I was like, I'm stuck in silver for 1 more week. It's not a huge deal. I'm going to stay up late to watch the Super Bowl next weekend with my girlfriend. So, yeah, that might be cool. I might be playing away, swearing profusely at Tag Arena while we go. But yeah, Rian, as I said, Rian is a fantastic champion, especially going up again. We didn't see any Stone Skin here, but Stone Skin is going to become more prevalent, right? It's one of these, it's one of the sheep are saying it. They're saying, Hydra sucks, the loot is bad. The loot's not bad, guys. Stone Skin is going to be insane. Like, I mean, seriously, if I put 4 champions into Stone Skin, and I send them against your team, and you do not have a buff stripper, and you don't have bombs, literally my team goes into the fight with block damage and block debuffs for 2 turns. Like, you're not going to win. Like, I'm going to destroy you. So, you're going to want buff strippers. You're going to want bomb champions to deal with it. Great buff stripper right here, Rian the Conjurer. Guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any other champions you want to see guides for as well. I mean, quick flick through my epics. Boom, you can get some ideas there of stuff you might want to see and some legendaries. You can watch my account showcase as well, where I talk about a lot of this stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.